So as usual, I just have to place the paper on the surface with the plywood, and I have to put on the tape so that whenever I'm gonna paint it, it will not move and it will not have a bubble effect. And sometimes there can be a reason that the paper will bleed as well, and it will go on to the other parts of the drawing. So to avoid that, it's good to place a tape over it. And in this drawing, we're just gonna have to start with the base. The base of the skin is the burnt umber. Sometimes I just put a small amount of the color and a little bit of yellow. Since the picture reference has a huge lighting on it, as you can see on the mobile phone beside on the left, it's not really brown and it's not even yellowish, but that's the base to the skin color. So we're gonna go on through the face, the neck, and the chest first so that we can establish the base. And always remember that whenever you are painting, don't put much color on the same area because it will bleed. Wait until those parts are a little bit dried and go to another parts of the drawing. So the basic of the image is a drawing in sketch. So I have to draw the whole image first and then gonna put on the base. As you can see as well on the second stage, now I am going to the small shadows, the lighter shadows, like on the eyelids and under the eyes, and then on the neck and on the face. It's important to just put a small amount of the dark shadows. Don't put a lot of color, because if you do, then you might not be able to adjust the picture later. So we'll just begin with the small shadows. As you can see, those are the structure of the bones in the face, cheekbones, and then a little bit under the eyes, because the eyeballs is round and there is a bones under the eyebrow. So it's important to recognize those structures so that you won't get lost in your painting. Now while working on with the skin and waiting for them to dry, we have to go on through the background and the other parts where there are no colors yet, like the eyebrows, and then a little bit in the lines of under the eyes. Now, as you can see, I'm putting a little bit more darker umber under the eyes. Remember that when you paint watercolor, they will come up lighter when it dries. So now we're just gonna go on to the eyeshadows. Since the picture reference has a makeup, so we have to recognize also the details of the colors before we're gonna go on to the other shading. So from here, I'm trying to recognize the shadows over the left nose and the dark tones in the holes of the nose. They are very dark but not too dark, so it's enough with a small amount of black just to drop it in those parts. Little bit of darker tones of the burnt umber, we're gonna go through the shadows of the eyebrow so that the shadows will be seen so much. And as you can see, I have already established the dark tones in the eyes and the eyeliner, and a little bit more darker in the nose so that you can recognize the structures of the nose. And then we're gonna do the base of the lips, so it's just a small amount of primary red and a little bit of water, not so much, just to base it, because later we're gonna cover the higher lips or the upper lips with a little bit more of the primary color red, and then we're just gonna shade some of the parts of it so we can recognize the highlights. We're not gonna paint it through, but we're just gonna have to go through the outlines of the lips to recognize the lightings as described in the reference picture. So as you can see, it's important with the details because they are the ones that will show when the picture is finished. They are the ones that will determine where your picture is going. And always remember to have a right proportion, especially in the face. Always recognize the face structure, the bones structure, and the heights from the eyes to the nose to the lips. And since the dark tones of the hair is quite dark, I am just starting to take control of the colors of the lips first. So as you can see now, I have covered it with a little bit of darker primary red on the top, just a little bit of black in it actually, just to recognize those shadows inside the lips and then under the upper lip. And there are also shadows actually in every parts of the teeth. So what I use in there is the burnt umber. So now you can see that the lips are starting to form. So I just have to color around the highlights because they are more important. Now we're just gonna have to allow the other parts of the face to dry. We're not gonna paint it right yet because it's still wet. We have to wait. Otherwise, if we paint on it, we will destroy the picture and it will bleed. The term in watercolor is bleeding. Whenever you paint something and then it is still wet and you put another color on it, it will bleed. So while the necklace is still trying to dry, we have to go on to the base of the hair color. And since on the reference picture, she colored her hair a little bit of blondie, so I have to create it according to my understanding. So painting is actually what expressing what you perceive from a picture. So I went through the base color of the hair, and then while drying it, I have to go through the backgrounds to present the person in the picture. So I am trying to make it in a different color like green, red, blue, and yellow. Yellow, blue, and red are the representation of the Philippine flag, and since she is a public servant, so I think it's best to present it that way. And now we're just gonna go on to the small details like the shadows under the lips. Now they are dried, so we can go on through the small shadows. And some parts are not yet still dry, so we have to work on with the other parts of the clothes. And as you can see here, I'm gonna draw the pattern one by one here. If you can see the reference, the colors of the clothes, they are, I think, stitched. I don't know if this clothes is hand stitched, so the colors are like lines of blue, yellow, gold, and then red, and there are some parts where there are magenta, but my perception is only red, blue, yellow, and then I mixed it with a little bit of violet in some places here and there, just to put on my own signature for it. Close up, you can see that I painted them one by one, and I just hope that I made a justice on this painting, otherwise the owner will beat me. The owner will be mad. Oh my goodness, that should not be going to happen. I don't want it so. But this is justice for the picture though. So I think I'm quite satisfied with the result of every patterns that I draw. And it's kind of interesting because mostly these are challenging whenever you draw it in pencil and eraser, because you have to scratch every shadows one by one just to represent the image. But I think with the watercolor painting, it actually made a good work for me. So the only thing I did was to put in my brush to the watercolor and then drag it on the paper. So basically in this painting, I just put the basic watercolor. If you recognize from my past portrait painting, I did mix media with an acrylic base and then watercolor, but this one is just pure watercolor. So, our drawing has almost come to its end, and I am so much grateful for the internet for giving me this opportunity to grab a picture. And in this case, I'm so much thankful for Ma'am Jocelyn Tulfo, and I hope that she will like this kind of drawings on YouTube, since YouTube has a lot of different tactics in showing their videos. I just hope that this one makes sense. Anyways, if you are interested in learning art, I can teach you. You can send me an email in the description box. I have webinars, good and best for you, so you can learn the basic of arts. What are the things you have to consider in art? Most and foremost are the materials, and then the second is how you dispose them, and then the proportions and the different ways on how to develop your skills in drawing. Since drawing is a psych skills, so I think that it's one of the best things to consider for self-development. Being patient, being calm, and being focused. So that's it. For the next episode, I'm gonna paint Rafi Tulfo, and I hope that I will also make justice in that picture, and I hope that you will enjoy. So God bless everyone, and see you again. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video. If not, you can give me thumbs down. If you like it, you can thumbs up. If not, okay, it's up to you. Alright, enough with this talking. Bye.